Okay, welcome back. So if you guys are starting on class 5 instructions, that means your folio will look like this. You will have your finished 26 letter forms of the alphabet, and that will be posted onto your online folio that you can see will look the same as the exemplar here. So the next step for you is to annotate your two favorite letter forms that you will take to develop further. Okay, so if you can see here, I've selected the letter G and the letter K. All right, so what I'm going to do is show you what you need to be annotating and how you will annotate it. Okay, so these guides are actually templates that you can copy. So I want you to copy them, but I want you to change the words to suit your letter forms that you've chosen. All right. So for the example in the instructions, I'll be annotating the letter K that we can see here. All right. So you'll find these instructions under the weekly instructions, and it's class 5. Okay. So when that's opened, it'll look like this. So really clear. That is supposed to be step 1. Annotate 2 of the letter forms you have selected. Okay. So we can see I've got the K over here as my example. So the first step is to list what 2 design elements you can see. So here I can clearly see texture. So highlighted in the green here, I've got texture. And I can also see that that texture is created by little lines. All right. So that's what I've chosen there. So what you also need to do every time you pick an element, which you should be getting used to now, is to put a descriptive word telling me what it looks like before the actual design element. Sorry if I said art element. It's meant to be design. So the written example simply goes as, I like the sharp, spiky texture. There is my described design element. And then I've just told you where I see the texture. So I like the sharp spiky texture of the letter form. My second one, same exact sentence, but changing the design element and changing where I see it. So the chaotic lines will contrast against a plain background. So we can see that's happening here with the K. So that is your first 2 sentences complete. The next step is to explain how your research has inspired your design. So you need to explain what design element from your research has inspired your design. And again, as always, using a descriptive word to describe what that element looked like in the research. Okay. So what I mean by that, if I go back to my folio, the research that should have inspired my typefaces will either be the images from your mood board or the typography research that you have collected. So, particularly, this typeface here has been the inspiration for my letter K that I have created. So simply, my sentence goes as, this letter form has been inspired by the crackling lines. So you can literally copy this sentence and then place the element that you have been inspired by. And then if I go back to my research on my folio, this has been designed by Jack Hewson, and the typeface is called Heretica. So that's simply my next sentence says, it's been inspired, the letter form has been inspired by the crackling lines of Jack Hewson's 2004 Heretica typeface, which I explored in my typography research. Really simple. So that is just making sure you're linking back to the research you've done. Okay. Third and final step, you'll hear this constantly moving forward. This allows us to understand your process of creation. So what you need to do is explain how and what you use to create your letter form. So we do this by listing the media, which is what you physically created the letter form with. So that is the thing in your hand. The next step, the method, how you physically created the letter form. So whatever you did with your hand, that is the method. And the last one, materials, is what you created the letter form on. So that'll either be paper or computer software or an iPad or a computer. Okay, so really quick example here. I used a grey lead pencil, colour pencil and fine liner. I used my hands to draw it, so hand drawing. If you did it online, it'll be digital drawing. And lastly, I drew it on paper. Okay? And then in the instructions here, you'll see what your annotation should look like as a whole. So you should have 3 small paragraphs, and then this is how they will appear on your online folio. So that is your task for today.